Geez, about time you came back. I was waiting here forever. Took you a long time to go use that restroom. Okay, median. You've probably heard that word before. Maybe your parents have talked about it when you're driving in the car. What's the median of that? Pretend that's a road. What's the median? How about, let's see. Let's go with Abraham. What do you got? What's the median? Yes, it's the dashed line in the middle of the road. That's the same for our numbers. Now, but what we have to do is you have to put your numbers from least to greatest. I can't just put 1, 72, 4, 9, 65. The middle would be 4, but that's not true in this case. Maybe it is, but you have to put them from least to greatest to have it make sense, because you're trying to find the middle value, not the middle, just the number that happens to be sitting in the middle. So list them from least to greatest. So you see they did over here. They go 14, 25, 27, 32, 32. They did them in the correct order. They went from smallest to biggest. And what I do is I cross them off. Cross out smallest to biggest and do it again. Cross out smallest, cross out biggest. The one left is in the middle. Now, this worked out nice because we had an odd number. 5 is odd, which means you're going to have a middle one. When you have an even number of numbers, you will not have a middle number. So what do we do? Because if I cross it off, I have 2 numbers in there. There's no actual middle number. What do you think I have to do now? It's kind of a hard question. What do you think I should do? How about gauge? What should I do, gauge? Yes, find the middle of those 2. Very easy to do. You're going to add up the 2 numbers, 25 and 32. So that'd be 7, 50, like that, 57. And now to find the middle, you divide by 2. So I take this 57, I divide by 2. 2 goes into 5 twice, that's 4. Bring down your 7. 2 goes into 17, 8 times. That's 16. I get 1 left. No number left, that's fine. Put a decimal here, put a decimal on top, add 0, bring down your 0, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So notice it says 28.5. That's the number that would lie right in the middle. So that becomes your new median, the middle number. So when you have an odd set of numbers, very easy. When you have an even number, just one more step to get that done. Okay, let's go ahead and practice this a little bit. We take a look at this one. Let's look at Mark and his family here. Mark's family all bought lunch at the fair. Mark's lunch cost $4.25. His sister's cost $5.76. His brother's cost $4.50. His mom's cost $6.20. And his grandmother's cost $3.75. His dad's cost $6.74. Find the mean and the median. They want us to find both of them. Since we're doing that, let's go ahead. The first step is let's list them from least to greatest in order. So go along, and I just look at the first whole numbers, 4, 4, 6, 6, 5, 3. There, I heard the smallest one is very easy. So I'm going to put 375, smallest. I might cross that one off, so I know I'm done with that one. Now let's go back. 4, 4, 6, 6, 5. What's the smallest number you heard? 4. What's smaller, 425 or 450? Well, that's easy. I have 425. Then I add the 450. So those 2 are both done. Now I have a 6, 6, and a 5. Obviously, 5 will come next. So 576. There's that one. Now I have 674 or 620. Obviously, 620 is last. So let's put in here 620. And the last one would be 674. I'm going to go ahead and try to move these all over a little bit so then I have enough room to fit all of them. I'll put comma 674 and erase it from the bottom right there. Okay, step 1, list them from least to greatest. If you wanted to find the median first, you could do that. If you wanted to find the mean first, whichever way. Let's just go with mean because it comes first. All you're going to do is add all of these numbers up. Now, if you happen to have a calculator, a side one, go ahead and do that. If it's on your computer, feel free to do that with me as we go. So go grab your calculator. Let's start adding all of these up right now. We have 375. There is a decimal in there, but you can also use the period. 3.75 right on your number pad and your keypad and your computer, plus 4.25, 4.25, plus 4.5, 4.5, plus 5.76, so 5.76, plus 6.20. You don't need the 0 at the end. You can just put 6.2. It is the same thing. Plus 6.74. So 6.74. Now press equals. Hopefully you all get the same thing, which looks like we have $31.20. That's the total. But how do I find mean again? We just did that one. Mean means average. That's the average. So what should I do? Xander, what do I do next? I divide by how many? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I divide by 6. If you left that in the calculator, just press divided by, then press 6, and what do you get? We got $5.20. So that means the average of everybody's meal was $5.20. Okay, not too difficult. Now we need to find the median. Again, median is like the road. You have that road. We want the one in the middle. We have listed them from least to greatest. So find the middle is very easy. Let's start and cross off this one, cross off that one, cross off this one, cross off that one, cross off. Oh, wait, what happened now? I have two numbers in the middle. What do I do when I have two numbers in the middle? What should I do now? How about, let's see, who have I called on? Jandy, you're sitting awfully nice and quiet like usual. Jandy, what should I do? Okay, add the two numbers up, right? After I add them up, what do I do? Divide by 2. Yes, we want to find that middle value. So go ahead and clear that calculator. Let's add up just those two numbers now. Let's add up 450 plus second number, 576 equal to, we got $10.26. But now we got to find the middle. Well, you could probably do that in your head. Half of 10 is 5. Half of 26 cents is 13 cents. So $5.13. Now, you notice those two numbers are pretty close together. Will it always happen that way? What do you think? Do you think the mean and the median will always be close? Why or why not? Maybe discuss that. If there's anybody around you, tell them why you think it would or it would not always be close. No, it will not always be close. There are several times when the numbers will be close, but there are certain times when those numbers could be skewed a lot. For example, let's say that this one, we're going to skip that one. Let's go down to range. I will explain why they won't after we do the range and the mode. I'll go back and explain that which one to use in certain circumstances. So let's look at range. Range is pretty easy. One of all of them, pretty easy. To do range, think of it like you take the tallest person in your class. Let's take a look at the shortest person in your class. The range would be how far are their heights away from each other? That's the range of heights. We range from maybe 4'8" to maybe 5'8". What if that was what we had? You had somebody who's 4'8". You had somebody who's 5'8" in your classroom. Well, your range would be 1 foot. That's how far you span. So range basically is like how far they spread apart. Range is a way to describe the data, and it's found by subtracting the least, or they'll call it the minimum number, and they set it from the greatest. So I always say it as max minus min. So your biggest minus your smallest. That's all you have to do to find the range. So it's pretty easy. Find the biggest, find the smallest, and subtract them. Okay, so if we take a look at the numbers right over here, we have the example that they have all these numbers. They picked out the biggest number. They picked out the smallest number. So they subtracted them, and your range is 13. It means those numbers span by 13. That's all that means for the range. Okay, let's go ahead and find the range of this one. Now, for range, you don't have to put them in order, but if they're asking you a series, a lot of times what you'll do is when you see questions like this, they might ask you mean, median, mode, and range all in one question. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to list them from least to greatest all the time. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to find my smallest one. There's a 1. I'm going to cross it off. My next one was a 4. So I'm going to cross that one off. Now you'll notice I have 3 5s. So 5, 5, 5. Cross it off, cross it off, cross it off. Next one is a 7. And then it's a 9. So it's cross off, just to make sure I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Made sure I got all my numbers. Now, the range. Just take your largest one minus your smallest one. 9 minus 1, 8. Very simple. If they ask you to find the middle, pretty easy. You cross them off, you know it's going to be 5. So it's pretty easy once you do this, how you can do them all. If you want to do without list them in order because you were just doing range, that's fine. Just make sure you're finding the right numbers. My smallest is pretty easy, 19. Your largest, let's see, looks like 81. So you just subtract those two. You take 81 minus 19, like that. I can't subtract that, so my 8 becomes a 7. That becomes an 11, 2, 6. So my range is 62. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next page. Maybe it will let me. There it is, right? Make sure I have it right. There we go. Now, exactly what I was talking about. Now you're going to do the mean, the median, and the range all in one question. Pretty easy, though. Let's first start by reading the question, then taking the numbers, and we're going to list them from least to greatest to start. There was a guess your age booth at the fair. One afternoon, the ages of the visitors to the booth were 22, 33, 22, 20, 33, 27, and 22. It says find the mean, median, and range of the ages. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a place like this, but I decided to do this once when I went to the Valley Fair. I was just graduated high school, so I was 18. I decided to have a goatee that day. And I go to this booth, and if he guesses within, I think it was like if he guesses within 2 years of your age, or he would guess the month of your birthday, or he could guess your weight. I decided to have him guess my age. I thought I looked my age at 18. I went up to him and I asked him to guess my age. He looked at me, kind of looked up and down a couple times. He wrote down a number on a piece of paper, and then he walked around the crowd and he asked them, "Does this look right to you?" And they looked at his guess, and they looked at me. He went to another person, and he had them look at the guess, looked up and says, "Yeah, I think you're pretty close on that one." He came back and said, "All right, how old are you?" I'm like, 18. He looked at me and goes, "Wow, I guess you were 27." He guessed I was 27 at 18. I'm like, I didn't think I looked that old, but sometimes people are way off. I'm like, this is supposed to be like your job, and you're not very good at it. But I guess I looked old. So let's take a look. What do you want to start with? Let's start with listing them from least to greatest. So find the smallest one up there. I see a 22. I have another 22. I have another 22. So I have all three 22s. Now I see 33, 30, okay, 27. Next one will be 30. And then I have two 33s. Make sure I have all the numbers. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. It's always a good way to check just to make sure you have all the numbers. Okay? They want us to do the mean. Well, you could add all them up. These won't be too hard to add up in your head. 22 and 22 makes 44. 44 plus 22 is 66. Now, 33 and 33 also makes 66. So I'm going to put that one right there. So I've done that one, and I've done all three of those. Now I have 27 and 30. Add those up, and we get 57. Now let's add them all up. 12 plus 7, 19. 12, well, that would be there. It'd be 666, so 18, 189. But how many numbers did we have? We said we had 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, So I'm going to take 189 divided by 7. Again, you could be using a calculator if you'd like to. 7 goes into 18 2 times. That's 14. Subtract, I get 4. Bring down your 9. 7 goes into 49 7 times. Easy. My median or average is 27. The average age of everybody that came by is 27. Okay? The mean is done. Now let's do the median. All right, let's do median. I'm going to do green so you can see the difference in color. I'm going to cross off the smallest because remember, this means middle. Okay, cross out the largest. Cross out the smallest, cross out the biggest. Cross out the smallest, cross out the biggest. The one that's in the middle, it was an odd number of data, so I know I'm going to have a middle. 27, that's your middle. Simple as that. And now range. How far do these numbers span? Look at your biggest, 33. Look at your smallest, 22, and subtract them. Pretty simple. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. The range is 11. Not a big range right there. Only 11-year difference from the youngest person to the oldest person that came to that booth. Okay. Now let's skip down here a little bit. Let's look at the bar graph. You could also do it off bar graphs. They could ask you to find mean, median, mode, range. You just have to look and say, oh, that one's 420. That one's 470, 410, 420, 460. You just use those numbers. When you could add them all up. You could divide by how many you have to find the mean. You could find the median. You could find the range. Same thing. Just make sure you're looking at a bar graph when you do it. Now, the one I'm going to add to this, you don't see this. Let's go back up to this top. You see all those numbers we had. And I told you we're going to work on the word mode, something you don't have. Mode is probably the easiest one, but if you don't ever get taught how to do it, you don't know what you're doing. Mode simply means most often. What number happens the most often? Here's the thing. You might have a mode. You might not have a mode at all. Maybe there are no numbers that are duplicated. You can also have more than one mode. Okay. For this one, we had 3 22s. We had 2 33s. So our mode, oh, I have it written there, would have been 22. What if I would have taken off this one? Well, then I have 2 22s and 2 33s. So now the mode would have been both a 22 and a 33. You can have 2 modes. Now, if I didn't have that one, and I didn't have that one, there are no numbers that repeat. That means there's no mode. Here's the thing, be careful. The mode isn't 0. A lot of people want to put, oh, mode is 0. No. The mode is only 0 if you have a bunch of zeros in there as a mode. This isn't the mode. That would be. This means no mode. You might write the word no mode or the word none. There isn't a mode, okay? But it's not 0 unless it actually has maybe multiple zeros in the data set, okay? Let's go ahead and end the video here. You can try one of those Think Centrals or the IXLs that you will have listed above. Thanks for showing up today. I appreciate your undivided attention throughout this video, and we will see you again in the next video.